then we can be, hey, we are live with Stiaan du Preez. Stiaan, welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions, because you are a champion and you're a powerlifter, because it's the powerlifting edition. It's awesome to have you on the show, dude. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, how was that for an intro? Was that good? I'm trying to match the energy you brought to the platform, because you brought some proper energy to the platform. You were rivaling the blue shirt guy, or the official blue shirt guy.
I think he had a bit more energy than I did there.
So that if you looked up human Red Bull in the dictionary, that's him. So, Percy, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. And I'm doing fine, thanks.
Okay, lekker man, thank you. En ja, dankie vir die Engels. My Afrikaans is 'n bietjie swak. Meeste van my Afrikaans vriende sê vir my, praat Engels asseblief, want jy moer ons taal. So,
Yeah.
so not so bad for a Soti, huh? All right. Stiaan, we just came back from Nationals. Can you let's chat a little bit about Nationals, and we're going to chat about how you got into powerlifting, and let you share a little bit of your story and who Stiaan is. So maybe start off, who are you? Give us a little bit of a background as to who is Stiaan du Preez.
All right, so my name's Stiaan, obviously, and then I come from a very small town in the northwest called Zero, which is it's around like 200 kilometers from Botswana's border.
It's an town, right?
And then,
yep.
Sorry?
It's a great town, Zeros.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
I wouldn't say great, but it's...
Where you go when you want to relax.
Yeah, if you want to go hunting or anything similar, then you can probably come here. And then I've stayed here for probably most of my life, since I was around like 8 years old. And then I started doing powerlifting when I was around 22. But I've been active in the gym since I was, I think, 16. I've been in and out since I was 16, but I've been active since I was 16, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And was that sort of just like sports at school, working on the farm, just wanting to stay in shape, or were there specific training reasons?
So initially started because I had to do rehab on an ACL reconstruction,
Sure.
which was when I was 16. And then I just started enjoying it. So that's how it initially started. And then eventually I started getting a bit bigger than most of my classmates and so on, and a bit stronger. And then I just started enjoying it a lot more.
Okay. Getting bigger and stronger than your classmates never hurts, does it?
Yeah.
100%. Then how did you find powerlifting?
So initially I found it through, I think, Russell Ori on YouTube. I just clicked on one of his videos one day and found out about it from him. And then at the time, I didn't really think there was anything like it in South Africa, so I never tried. Except because I knew about Nicolas du Preez and some of the untested guys, but the numbers were way above mine, so I didn't even go and try it. And then when I was around like, I think 20 or probably around like 21, I found out about like Tom Wiwegi. I don't really know how to pronounce his last name yet, so apologies.
No, don't worry, so I'm famous for that. It's fine.
And then I found out there's like a IPF affiliation in South Africa. And then I competed the year after that, and then I took a bit of a hiatus, and then I came back this year, end of last year.
Right. I've got a question for you, by the way, from Zaidi Nat 411. Says, Stiaan, when are you moving to the Western Cape? You love our team.
I had plans for moving, but it's been moved a bit more to the future now. I just want to sort everything out here before I go. So it's probably not as soon as I would have hoped for, but it'll be here in the future.
So do we have to start a bidding war between Western Cape and Gauteng for you?
No, I don't think I'd move to Gauteng. It's a bit too busy for my taste.
Okay, 100%. Cool. And it's Nathan that sent the message for you. So he's really trying to
Yeah.
recruit you for the team with the world's coolest singlet setup. Hey, how was that gear of Nathan's? Beyond.
Yeah,
Off the hook. Yeah. He's nagging me for photos. I'm teasing him, dragging it out. Next week, Wednesday. So, okay, cool. So sorry to interrupt. So basically you you found the IPF and SOPF and then took a break, came back to lifting, and ended up now at nationals. And how did that go for you this year?
It went pretty well. I won the 105 class, and then I also broke the squat and total national records. So yeah, for national standards, it went pretty well, but compared to what I wanted, it wasn't really there. But
Okay.
yeah,
But that's on the day, right? That's powerlifting.
yeah.
And I think, are you ever really happy with your performance?
I was, after I competed at the Western Cape, I was a bit happier than I was this time around because when I went to the Western Cape, I was thinking about a 300 squat and like a 170 bench. And then my deadlift, I'd just have taken what was there on the day, and then I got pretty close to a 300 squat. My bench, I messed up a bit, and then my deadlift just flew. That's just given me so much more momentum leading into nationals. So yeah, so that was initially after Western Cape. That was the point where I thought that I'd be able to go above 800 for this year's nationals.
Okay, sure. That's going to be phenomenal. We got another comment here for you, by the way. They keep interrupting my flow, but it's fine. Keep the comments coming, guys. Nuclear Lifts is saying we need to test Stiaan. I'm convinced he's on radioactive lion meat.
Yeah. It's probably just genetics, I think. So my dad's also quite well.
Also, so the one thing with that Western Cape Champs, I mean, was absolutely epic. What did you think of the competition?
I thought it was really nicely run. The Western Cape has a lot of guys who want to compete in powerlifting. I think it's really nice when you have like competition in such a close province and stuff. I think it's the same for Gauteng.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, Northwest, I think we don't really have as many lifters. I think there was like 11 who competed at nationals, so that's not too many here. So most of the time when I want to qualify or I want to compete again, I'll probably go to either Gauteng or Western Cape.
Western Cape, or both.
If people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a great venue this year at Western Cape, and just to be in that gym and be able to look out of the window at Paul Rock, it was quite a beautiful location.
Yeah.
Great coffee, great protein bars. So, you were happier then with the performance and the way the deadlift was moving for you.
Yeah, to be fair, I got a bit sick the week of nationals. So when I went to Porch on Thursday to watch Scott, I was weighing at 104.7 that morning.
Sure.
And then I drank some of Porch's water, and then when I weighed in, I was on like 101.8 while I was pretty full. So
sure.
I think that definitely played a role because I think I missed 318 in the comp on squat, and then I missed 332 on deadlift, both of which I got in the gym previously. So yeah, I wasn't really too pleased with my performance there.
But you got what you needed, and also understanding that Potch water, please don't ever do that again. Huh? So you got another comment here. From, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Hazala Ismail, and just says my goat. There you go.
Oh yeah.
So, what was your first powerlifting competition like? When was that?
That was in 2023 at Wamani's gym to qualify for nationals.
All right.
It was pretty nice. I wasn't used to the calibrated plates and the competition gear and stuff, and I also wasn't used to the command, so I missed my first squat, I think.
Yep.
So yeah, but it was pretty nice going.
Sure.
I think I totaled 690 then on
Mm-hmm.
like RP8. So yeah, it was nice getting the experience and stuff.
Awesome. So I think going forward for this year, and actually, let me ask you, I mean, what did you think of the atmosphere at the gym, the crowd, the community? What was that like for you?
Do you mean in the first competition?
Yeah, at Wamhani's gym.
It was pretty nice. Since I'm from a small town, like I wasn't really used to spectators being in front of you, but I'm from a small town and there's not really powerlifters here except for myself and maybe two other guys.
Right.
So I'm pretty used to people watching you while you lift, especially when you do something above like a 250 squat, which seems insane in the general population for the gym.
Yeah, to normal
So
people,
I was pretty
non-machines. Yep.
So I was pretty used to people like constantly looking at me while I was training or anything, but the commands were a bit different. I wasn't used to like having to wait to go for something or anything. But it taught me that I could probably always keep my ears open while competing, and I've practiced that right through my training since then.
Okay, awesome. With winning at nationals now, getting the medal, getting on the podium, what was that like for you?
To be honest, heading into nationals, like from February, I was pretty confident that I would get it. I knew Yaku was coming, so he had a monster deadlift, so I was pretty scared after I missed my third squat that he might be able to catch up, but luckily I got my second deadlift and the 805, so I was pretty convinced that I'd get the win from there. But yeah, it felt pretty nice. So since Western Cape, the main goal has been to break the 800. When I wrote my initial program, that was the goal. I may have gone a bit over it in training, but I still got it in competition. So yeah, I was pretty happy about everything.
That's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your training, where you train? You mentioned coming to the Northwest Comp was the first time with calibrated plates. What's that training environment like? And the reason I'm saying that is I'd like people who are listening, if they're not able to get to a gym with a full rig, calibrated plates, that they can understand that it's not going to affect their outcome to such a big degree.
So I train. So we used to have a gym, like right next to the holding prison. I think that's what it's called in English.
Okay, yeah.
But in Afrikaans? Yeah, the enclave.
Okay.
Maar in any case, so we had like a normal squat rack, and the normal bench and stuff. We've recently actually fixed the power rack in, but for my first comp, I didn't really have that privilege yet. So I'm pretty privileged with the weight to have as well, because they simulate calibrated plates. They're not exactly the same, but they do simulate them. And then we do have a few bars which aren't really competition standard, so there's no knurling on it or anything. And yeah, I've been able to get pretty strong from them as well.
Okay. So it's the consistency in the training, right?
Yeah, it's consistency in training and just reasonably knowing how to train for powerlifting. Like especially as you get more advanced, you want to try and regulate your training to a certain degree that you still see progress. Even once you hit higher levels and higher levels, you still want to try and program in a way that you will consistently see results. So it's mainly been those two things.
100%. Are you coaching anyone else other than yourself, or are you looking to take on clients? Something that you'd be wanting to do?
I do actually coach, but it's on a pretty small scale. So because I have a normal job and I have a son and I have a girlfriend and everything, and then my own training, it does get pretty difficult to manage everything. So I've limited myself to like 6 or 7 clients at the moment until I can afford more time to get more on. And I think I have 4 at the moment. So there's definitely space for 3 more if anyone is interested. But
you've heard that here first, folks. Yeah. 3 more only, huh? Limited space. So, and we've got,
Yeah.
and guys, people can get in touch with you on Instagram. We've got your handle up. They can just DM you. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, epic, cool. With your son, have you started him on a program yet?
Not yet, but it is actually quite. I don't know what's fresh in English,
Yeah,
so I'll just
solid,
say it is.
strong. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, he is pretty strong.
he's playing
He looks
first
pretty
team
good
in
for his
primary
level.
school, so it's cool. Yeah, at his age.
Yeah.
Awesome, good. So good genetics.
Yeah, we have decent genetics in the running in the family, so.
Okay, fantastic. That's awesome. With winning nationals, we got a couple of international comps coming up. Are you looking at going to any of the internationals?
So around February and the beginning of March, I was looking at going to Worlds, possibly, because I thought 8:45, 8:50 was definitely a possibility at nationals, because I would have gone if I'd ever gotten a primetime spot, which is like the top 8. But unfortunately, that didn't go on the way I planned. So no, unfortunately, I'll just be sticking to training still and trying to improve my total going forward, so that I can eventually, when I go to compete, because the big plan is going like 2027, going to Worlds, with hopefully around 920, 940, around the total, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's the big plan. So I'll probably won't be going to any international comps or anything similar this year.
Okay, well, that's very, very sad for us. We may have to chat to you off air and try and convince you to go, and we'll get a GoFundMe together so we can send you. We got to at least get you to Japan, man. Come on, for Asia, Africa. You know, that's a Pacific. That's a great comp. You've got it. Just before we answer that, you got another comment from Nuclear Lifts. He says, Stiaan helped me with my peaking for nationals. It was professional and I learned a lot. And you got a flex gun. So there you go.
Yeah.
Cool. No, I understand that you're working towards a very specific goal. Do you find that your approach to training is very specific, where you set yourself goals and then you don't want to deviate from that?
Yeah, so generally what I'll do is I'll set a goal for each block that I run. So for example, I run 4-week blocks. So let's go, for example, from Western Cape until now, I ran 3 blocks, where the first block was just lowering back my volume or the intensity so that my body can recover properly to try and peak well for the next 2 blocks for nationals, and then also train my technique on deadlifts and bench, because I thought they were pretty terrible heading into Western Cape. And then the second block was just a strength block where I tried and maintain and build up on my strength, which I already had. And then the fourth one was obviously just a peaking block going into nationals. So I've set out goals for each one. I've set out ranges for the end of each block, so I know exactly what numbers I want to hit during each block, during each week, from the beginning to the end. So for Western Cape, for example, it was a 15-week block. I took a week off. It was a 15-week prep. So I took a week off after coming back home. And then when I wrote out my program before going, I set like ranges for each week going into nationals. So I knew exactly what I would hit 2 weeks out from nationals. I knew exactly what I would hit on squat, bench, and deadlift. And that's worked out pretty well for me since then and now.
Okay, fantastic. If you were speaking to younger lifters and lifters that were looking at getting started, particularly they're training themselves, coaching themselves, setting their own programming, where would you advise them to start?
I'd say you should probably start by getting more information. And then I'd say you should start by just going to the gym. Like I remember when I used to go when I was 16, 18, I think I actually still remember my split. It was Monday, I'd max out deadlift. Tuesday, I'd max out bench. Thursday, I'd max out squat. And then Saturday, I'd max out overhead press. So I just started right from there. And then when I started plateauing, I just started looking more into programming and stuff. So just start, and then once you start struggling a bit more to find progress or results, you can just start looking into more info and start looking to programming, or you could be looking to get a coach. So either one of those. So like I was coached by Tom Wiewige in 2023. Yeah, I was coached by, from June 2022 to around May of 2023. And that helped me a lot with learning technique and stuff as well. And I've carried that into the future. So yeah, but the initial thing is just to start.
So it starts when you plateau, educate yourself, maybe get a coach to help you with the technique and stuff, move through, and then just keep on at it and keep being consistent.
Yeah, just to keep being consistent. That's all you need to do, really.
100%. If we were to talk to non-powerlifters, and I know we got primarily powerlifters watching this, why should someone get involved in this sport?
I'd say you should just get involved to get stronger. I don't really have many reasons. I think you should just get involved to get stronger. And it's fun to set goals in something. I don't think you should train without going for a reason. So for me, that's obviously powerlifting. For some of my friends in the gym, that's just to look better. But I think powerlifting gives you a general goal to achieve. So, and it gives you set goals to achieve. Which is why I think it makes it a bit better to do powerlifting than to just go to the gym normally and everything like that.
Because I think it's whether you're competing or not, you can all set those goals that you speak about, set the targets, and it's linear. You can track it and progress. You know that you're always moving towards your goals if you're showing up and doing the work. And I think that's something that can really, it can help you develop that self-belief and worth.
About powerlifting, you can set specific goals, and you can set specific goals and specific time ranges, and you can see how close you get to hitting them.
Yeah.
That's what makes it a bit more fun for me.
And it can make it a lot of fun. And what has powerlifting taught you about yourself?
Yes.
Sorry, dude.
I've never thought about it that way. I want to say it's taught me that I'm pretty strong. So
yeah,
but I know that's probably the right answer.
No, there's no right answer here, Stiaan. It's like, your answer is your answer because it's your answer.
Yeah, no, I guess that's my answer then. It's taught me that I'm pretty strong.
So are you stronger now than you thought you would be, that you could be?
I struggled with a lot of injuries, like right after my initial competition, mainly injuries that carried over from rugby. So I actually had to rehab those first before I could start up again. So I think I could have been stronger without the injuries. Right. That's why I took the hiatus that I spoke of. I definitely think I could have been a lot stronger now if it weren't for injuries, but I learned something out of it. So I don't take it for granted.
100%. Are we going to be seeing 1,000 total?
Maybe if I go up 2 weight classes, but I think that's definitely a bit difficult. Like I'm just at 805 right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, come to the 120 plus. We've got lack
I don't think that. I don't think my fiance will enjoy that. So,
okay, fair enough. So she's happy with you at the 105s.
Yeah, no, I'm actually struggling to fill out the 105s. So it's been pretty difficult going. Like for my first block after Western Cape, for example, I weighed in around 107, 108, but I just didn't feel well with that weight. So I got back down to around 103, and I stayed consistently there right through to nationals. And then I lost the weight from the porch water. Yeah. So yeah, I'm still struggling to fill out the 105s. After I fill that out, I might be able to go up.
Yeah, 100. We need to get some T-shirts made that said, "I'm on the potch water diet."
You actually, from my friends there, they say they get used to it. So I think it's just you get sick for the first 3 days, and then it turns into like anabolic water or something. So I don't know about that.
100%. So Nuclear Lift says that you can eat a lot of rice. So tell us about the rice.
Yeah, so rice is like my main carb source in my diet. So I basically eat the same thing every single day, or I try at least. Sometimes it may vary, but like every single day, it's around like 6 to 8 eggs in the morning, and then 700 to 1.2 kgs of rice in the afternoon for lunch. And then right before I go train, it's around 60 to 100 grams of oats. And then for dinner, it's usually around 700 grams to 1.2 kg rice again with 800 to 1.1 kg mince.
Okay, sure. And it's such, you know, every top level athlete that I've ever worked with or even got to chat to, any top coach, the number one thing they've always said in an athlete's diet that is makes it effective is consistency. Eating the same thing every day for breakfast. Your breakfast is the same, your lunch is the same, your dinner is the same. You know, obviously not the same
Yeah.
each one, but that you're eating that. It takes thought out of the equation. It takes minimizes the prep and planning, makes shopping much easier, and eliminates decision fatigue. And you can put that mental energy into your training at the gym. How big a impact do you think eating the same stuff, eating the same diet has had on your performance?
So I think the rice definitely has a
Mm,
big impact on my performance. Also the mince and the eggs, obviously, because it's protein and stuff. But I think eating the same thing every day is beneficial to some people. Some people might not like it.
mm,
Some people want to diversify their food taste and whatever. For me, I just do it that way because it's a lot easier. Because I don't have a lot of time. I'm usually away from home for at like 6:30.
mm,
Yeah, 6:30 in the morning, and then I'm back home at 8:30. So I don't have a lot of time to do anything. So those are the quickest meals that I can make. So in the morning, I'll just make my 6 eggs and my rice,
mm.
take it to work, and then the afternoon when I get home, I'll just cook up my own dinner. That's not the same as the other people in the houses. And then I'll just move from there.
Okay, 100%. But I suppose it comes down to what are you eating for? What's the purpose? What's the goal? And how badly do you want it, right? Where you have choice of
Yeah,
food versus I want the performance.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's so like I'm going into off season right now, so
mm,
I've given myself a bit of room to eat something else. But usually when I go into prep, um, that's my mainstay on everything that I eat.
keep it simple, keep it easy,
Yeah.
and then it's easier to stick
Yes.
to. Absolutely. So, a little bit about the future. Can you, are there any sort of goals that you'd like to share with us?
Um. All right. So for this year, the next goal is probably to try and triple 800 on SBDs.
Mm-hmm.
Um. For next year, the goal is to get just around 900 at the end of the year. So it's not to say that I want 900 by next year because I know it's a bit difficult. But the main goal stays 900 in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the only goals that I have right now
Okay. Awesome.
in powerlifting.
But that's cool. It's just, you know, next year we've got, well, this year we've got World Masters in Cape Town. Next year we've got
Mm.
juniors and sub juniors at Sun City. But I think chatting with Hani, we've got a few more competitions for 27, 28, and 29 that he's going to be bringing out here. So there's always
Yeah,
good opportunity to perform here.
yeah, I
Which,
hope so.
yeah, which is never a bad thing. No, 100%. Like he always tells me, no, he's going to be retiring from comps. Like he told me this 5 years ago. He loves it too much. He puts on a great competition. What did you think of nationals, by the way? How fantastic was that blue carpet from Commonwealth and World Masters?
It was very nice. I remember the first time I went in 2023. It was much bigger this year
Yeah,
compared to back then. Um, so I felt it was pretty nice. There were a lot more people competing this year, and I think a lot more people competing than in 2023.
yeah,
So I didn't have any bad thoughts about it.
that's awesome. I think one of the junior division, that was the 76ers. You know, this juniors, there was like 13 guys in the one division.
That was a 74. Yeah.
74s, no, okay, yeah, 100. So it's been a long day, 76s. I was editing some of the videos and putting out titles. I see I've got men, I put men 84 kilo. So that's 83 kilos, 83 kilos. I know it, yeah. And men's 74s. Yeah, no, absolutely phenomenal. So a couple of fun questions for that I love to ask people. What's your favorite thing about powerlifting? Doesn't have to be too serious.
Deadlifting against someone stronger than me.
Okay. Well, funny. So Nicholas du Preez just jumped on. So he's watching.
Oh,
Do you want to give a shout out?
I think everyone thinks we are family, but I'm not aware that we are yet.
Yeah.
So
I don't know so much. Genetically, you guys are moving in the same direction with the barbell, so absolutely. So
no, it's a lot bigger than me. So
yeah. For now, don't worry, no. But it's great to see that South Africa is putting out such awesome athletes. It's something that's really, really inspiring, and I think for Nicholas as well, he's a huge introducer to the sport for so many people.
Yeah.
Hey? That's it. Yeah. He
yeah,
says, yeah, and Nicholas is saying we both come from the same towns. Ha ha.
yeah, we come from zeros.
So there we go. Okay, so yeah. Is there something in the water in Zeros? Let me ask you that.
I don't know. Most people from zeros have like massive legs, so maybe I'm not certain.
It's the farming community and the genetics, right? Of just hardworking people for generations.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So what is the one thing within powerlifting that drives you mad?
What like makes me angry?
Yeah, makes you just for a bit of fun, right? So we got what makes you happy, what makes you mad. Or angry.
Probably that you need certain equipment to compete.
Yeah.
That'll probably be it. Yeah.
That becomes the challenge. In terms of competing equipped or classic or like classic equipment. So sleeves, belt.
I think I'm speaking mainly about the RPF, that you need like certain brands of sleeves and belts and wrist wraps and singlets and whatever to compete. That quite irks me. But especially in a country like South Africa, where I think like my entire kit, which I bought in 2022, was 9,000 rand, and
Sure.
for some people that's very, very expensive, and they just can't afford it, which limits access to competing in powerlifting.
So what would you like? Would you like to see a level of competition where maybe performance based, if you qualify, if you reach certain numbers, then there can be a pool of equipment maybe held by SAPF, like where they have singlets, they have belts, they have socks, sleeves that people can use.
Yeah, that would be nice. The thing is with especially like a SBD belt, you have to get used to it. I remember back when I started training with mine, it left like marks right around my abdomen, which was very scary at first. But
bruised ribs, it's internal bleeding. Yeah.
yeah. So they could do something like that, but I still think like for most athletes that want to prosper in the sport, having to buy certain brands of equipment isn't really something that's ideal, especially for, I don't know how to say it, less advantaged communities.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, that's just where people don't have that level of disposable income. The reason that I mentioned it, Stiaan, is that chatting to one of the Great Britain coaches or the British coaches, they were saying how they've grown their equipped lifting, that a lot of the guys that were inequipped and sort of had moved on in their equipment, got better, they donated it to a national pool. So if you wanted to lift, then you could go and train at certain gyms and the gear was there for you to train with. So, that's something maybe that we could look at. Do you think that's something that drives lifters or young lifters, new lifters, away from the SAPF?
Initially, it's what drove me away. So I think I watched because I was a junior at the time, I watched SAPF 105 juniors in 2022. And like I wanted to compete, but I couldn't because I didn't have 9,000 rand to spare for a SBD kit.
Yeah.
Because that's unless you can import, that's all that's available in South Africa. as far as I'm aware. So yeah, it definitely drives people away, especially people who can't afford the SPD at that moment.
Right. So there really does need to be brands coming into the IPF that are more cost effective, that are cheaper.
There are brands which are cheaper than SPD. It's just that they are
Not in
international
South
brands,
Africa.
which is very, very expensive to import. Because I think, like, I checked a Stoic belt. I looked at a Stoic belt at work today, and it's cheaper than my SPD one. But once I import it, it gets a lot more expensive.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's one of the values of being able to travel to an international competition. Where, like, I remember being in Sweden in 2019, and everyone was there, from guys making custom belts that weren't approved,
Yeah,
that were insane, like just some of the leather work, but and then A7, Inza, Titan, all of the guys that are there, and you can really pick up stuff quite cheap, even SBD. I mean, I remember buying
yeah,
Leica collars in Sweden. I think they were 1,600 rand for the competition collars. You know, here they were like 6 grand. So it was,
yeah,
it was nuts. It is a big thing. By the way, hope I'm going to pronounce this correctly. Cisnali says 9,000 rand, and then an exploding head emoji. So
yeah. That's what. It's
yeah,
not. It's SPD stuff definitely isn't available to everyone.
that is something that maybe the federation should be looking at, or SBD. To look at specific pricing for specific markets. You don't think that's going
Yeah,
to be
no,
happening?
no.
So yeah, I'm sure that. But I like this point. It's something that maybe that we're going to look at and see if we can help. Where, if you could have a national academy of promising young lifters where they can get the gear and have the opportunity to train with it, and before they can come up or maybe look at sponsorships and stuff. Because in reality, 9,000 or 10,000 rand for an athlete is quite a lot. I mean, it's very, very expensive, but for organizations to sponsor, it's something that could be done for 90 or 100,000 rand to sponsor
Yeah,
10 athletes. That's something that can make a profound difference. And I know there was a lot of work on the development side in Northwest in terms of gear and equipment, but it
yeah.
comes down to how's that stuff maintained and looked after. Again, from geez, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Cessnali, I live here. Oh, thank you. I live here in Scotland. SBD is cheap here. Thank you for that. Okay, all right. So, Stiaan, we're off to Scotland.
Yeah, I would say.
So that's kind of the thing. Yeah, I think SBD is expensive here, but it's the shipping costs and the weight. That's kind of the thing
Yeah.
that gets a little bit much.
Even when you check on the European sides, the price is still roughly the same.
Yeah. Okay. So it can be uncomfortable. I've noticed a few very similar looking belts on Takealot that look very much like SBD.
Yeah, no, there's going to be a few.
Yeah, maybe a thing to do, and I don't want to get us into trouble here, is you buy the Takealot belt and then you just buy the SBD lever and pop that on. You might have a little bit of a cost savings there.
Yeah.
We'll leave that. We'll leave that. From your side, is there anything that you'd like to share or talk about with regards to powerlifting?
Nothing else that I really know. No,
Okay.
that I can think of right now.
From my side, also for Nicholas du Preez as well. Now, I don't know if he realizes how much of an impact he has on a lot of lifters and a lot of younger lifters. Whatever federation you're in, it's incredible to see a human being moving that volume of weight and that committed to the lifting. So
Yeah.
it's really it's amazing. When he's moving more weight than your caterpillar on the farm, it's yeah, it's kind of cool to see. And also, Stiaan, for yourself, man, I could see, like, it was amazing for me because I had the opportunity to announce and to be on the floor with the cameras, and then in the back, in the audience with the cameras, and the atmosphere
Yeah.
that was created when you guys were lifting was absolutely, absolutely off the hook. I mean, did you feel that?
I definitely felt it. I think that was probably the best class
Mm.
in
Yeah.
the ACPF. There was 3, 4 records broken.
Yeah.
And then Jaco came out with that insane deadlift, which was pretty demoralizing for me. So,
demoralizing
but
or
yeah,
inspiring?
I don't know. It's like it's bred like a competitive drive in me
Yeah,
that
yeah, good.
I think the last time like I really felt this competitive about powerlifting in South Africa was when Tom beat me by I think 73 kgs
Yeah.
back in
Yes.
2023.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely feel like I'd be able to get that within this year.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like the atmosphere was pretty astounding. Compared because I was there to watch almost every class because I didn't have anything to do in Port. And except for Ruben Pulling's last deadlift to try and get the win, I definitely feel like my class was by far the best.
It was fantastic to watch and fantastic to be part of. Did the support from the audience help?
Yeah, no, it helped a lot. I sometimes get scared when I hear my mom screaming. So
I think
that
he was
maybe put me
on
off
the
a bit.
corner
But
side. They were over there, or if I remember correctly. Where were they?
yeah, yeah, that was
That was okay.
uh, so that sometimes threw me a bit off,
Okay.
but I'm usually able to execute quite well despite it. But yeah, the support was pretty nice. Yaku and his entire family and friends also, I don't know what's the word, cheered for me.
Yep.
So you definitely get a big feeling um, from the crowd.
That's something that's very special with powerlifting, that the guys you're competing against are also wanting you to get the lift, and their supporters are
Yeah.
also wanting you to get the lift. I think that makes it very, very special. Although on that, listen, I know we got a comment here. I'm going to read it anyway. Okay, Stiaan. So it says from Villy BTB. I don't know if you, okay. So there we go. Okay, it's fine. It says, go Stiaan, best female deadlifter by far.
Okay. Probably because I pull sumo, but
Yep.
I've still pulled more conventional than he has, so I'm
Yep.
pretty fine.
Okay, that's fine. So there we go, Billy. You heard it here first. Then again, from Nuclear Lifts, apparently he will do conventional next year. So then you have to take that back, Billy. Okay, there we go. Getting some support, a little bit of a brawl in the audience. In the viewers. And then from Nicholas, we've got, I actually convinced Jaco to fly in from the Netherlands and compete since I coach him. He knew he'd be healthy competition. So there we go. We're importing guys to give you competition. How cool is that?
Jako's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
When I found out he was competing, I was actually very happy because I chatted to him on Instagram and we became friends that way. But he deactivated his Instagram account, so I didn't really have ways of contacting him. But when I saw his name on the sheet, I actually got really happy because it's much more fun when you have competition that's that close to you. It just gives you that extra bit of drive.
Absolutely. You got to push it 100%. Are we interrupting
Yeah.
any family time? I hope not.
No, it's fun.
Okay, cool. Then we've got another one. So Villy says again, lol, go Stiaan, nice guy. And Nuclear Lift says, I lost some money because of that, Nicholas.
Yeah.
So there we go. Absolutely fantastic, man. Awesome. Stiaan, really, I mean, I don't want to keep you much longer. I know it is time at home that you don't get a lot of. And we're really grateful for you making the time, making yourself available. We had some challenges before the comp, but I think it was great actually being able to chat to you after the competition and just touch base, because a little bit calmer, right? Less pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, but powerlifting doesn't really give you that much pressure, but yeah, it was probably a better option doing it after
Comp, yeah.
So
Well, next year we'll do it, but well, for the next one we're going to do it before and after the comp, if that's good with you.
yeah, that should be fine. Yeah.
Okay, awesome, Stiaan. Thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to add just before we wrap up?
No, nothing that I can think of immediately.
All right. So just want to say a big thank you to you. Thank you for your time. Thank you to our viewers. The commenting has been fantastic, certainly beating a certain Mr. Ireland's comments, but we do have to get him back on because we had a terrible echo on his show. But really want to say thank you so much for joining us, dude. It's been absolutely epic. I'm going to end the stream and then I'll just chat to you off air then.
All right, that's no problem.
Okay, awesome, Stiaan. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the fantastic comments. And I think next we got Amelia on Thursday chatting about how KZN felt about the competition and stuff. Okay. Nuclear Lift says, I'm also logging off now. Thank you for the nice stream, guys. Have a good evening. Yeah, thank you, Nuclear Lifts. Very cool. All right, good night, ladies and gentlemen.